Most people will never achieve what they truly want. It isn't because they lack the ability. Talent and intellect are rarely the bottleneck. Instead, a quiet attrition begins. The initial momentum hits the first layer of resistance, and the effort starts to stall. Failure is rarely a single, dramatic event. It is more often a silent, day-by-day surrender of expectation. This happens because we harbor a fundamental psychological contradiction. We want long-term success, but we have an instinctive, physiological rejection of the repeated, short-term failures required to get there. We crave a different life, but we find the daily discomfort of building it nearly impossible to tolerate. When we demand a smooth path and meet this jagged valley of friction instead, the mind begins to look for an exit. A gap this wide makes abandonment the most likely response for a brain seeking relief. Every goal starts with a burst of motivation. It feels like boundless energy, but it is actually a deceptive spike in brain chemistry. Starting feels easy because the initial excitement masks the actual work. At this stage, discipline isn't even part of the equation. But that chemistry eventually levels out. The light fades and the shadow of actual effort moves in. Doubt, fear, and distraction become tangible. This is an evolutionary reflex. Your mind senses the friction and tries to pull you back toward the safety of the baseline, to the comfort of what you already know. Relying on that early excitement is a trap. The brain is programmed to prioritize immediate certainty over a future you haven't yet built. To survive this reflex, you manage an internal equation from think and grow rich. Your desire must be heavy enough to keep the scale from tipping when difficulty increases. The moment discomfort outweighs why you started, desire evaporates and the mind powers down. This isn't a sign of weakness. It is a logical, automated defense mechanism against uncertainty. To reach the objective, you need a different architecture, a quiet persistence that doesn't ask for a reward today. This kind of endurance is the opposite of that loud, early motivation. It is steady, cold, and often boring. A moment of wonder. Real growth at this level is entirely subterranean. It happens quietly in the dark, away from any outside observer. Like these roots, your own development must expand deep beneath the surface long before the first results become visible. The tragedy of the abandoned goal is that we stop because we see no movement, forgetting that the most vital work is often the most hidden. If you feel like you are standing still, remember, the slowness is not a warning. It is proof that you are currently in the invisible phase of growth. This long silence is the mechanism that actually recalibrates your capacity for discomfort. It is where your internal structure is rebuilt. Long pause. Persistence eventually secures the objective. And more importantly, the weight of that persistence rewires the person